And today, voters in Iowa begin the process of choosing the next president. Republican Mitt Romney is fighting for a win against top rival Mike Huckabee in tonight's caucuses, and it appears to be a three-way race for the Democrats among Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and John Edwards. 1/4 of likely voters say they have yet to make up their minds. Kenya's main opposition party has canceled today's million-man protest march. A top party official cites continuing violence between protesters and police and calling off a rally against suspected cheating in last week's presidential election. At least 300 people have been killed in recent protests in Kenya. The Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation into the destruction of CIA interrogation videotapes. Attorney General Michael Mukasey has appointed John Durham, a federal prosecutor in Connecticut, to oversee the investigation. Durham has a reputation as one of the nation's most relentless prosecutors. The San Francisco Zoo reopens today, 9 days after an escaped tiger killed a teenage visitor and critically injured 2 other people. NBC's George Lewis is in San Francisco. George, good morning.
Good morning, Natalie. The San Francisco Chronicle this morning is quoting a witness as saying that she saw 4 young men, including the 3 victims of the tiger attack, taunting the lions in the big cat enclosure just before the Christmas Day incident with the tiger.
This is what the public won't get to see today. A look at the tiger enclosure, where construction is already underway to make the walls higher and zoo visitors safer.
I would just like to encourage and invite everyone that lives here in San Francisco and the Bay Area to please come out again and visit the San Francisco Zoo.
On Christmas Day, a female tiger named Tatiana escaped, fatally mauling 17-year-old Carlos Souza and injuring 2 other young men, brothers Paul and Kulbir Dhaliwal. This before the tiger was shot and killed by police. New signs at the zoo today warn the public not to bother the animals, raising questions about whether the 3 young men were taunting the tiger.
We don't know whether taunting played a role for sure right now in what happened on Christmas Day and the attack, but it's something that the police and the zoo are looking very closely at.
Noted criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos, who represents the 2 survivors, says the attack was unprovoked. The young men were not doing anything to upset the tiger. He also alleges that on the night of the attack, there was a half-hour delay before anyone notified 911.
The police department is aware of that, and I hope that they investigate that so that we can eventually determine what exactly happened.
The zoo says people will be able to leave flowers and other tributes to remember both the teenager who was killed and Tatiana the tiger.
The tiger was a beloved member of the San Francisco Zoo family, and our hearts go out to that tiger, and it goes out to that poor young man who was killed that day.
As investigators try to figure out what caused the tiger to escape and attack.
Police are flatly denying published reports that the young men may have used a slingshot to bother the animals. No basis for that, they say. Natalie?
George Lewis in San Francisco. Thank you, George. Bitterly cold temperatures are gripping the eastern part of the country from New England to Florida. There are even reports of snow flurries today in parts of Florida. Citrus growers in Florida sprayed their crops with water so that the ice would help protect them during the night. Meantime, people in parts of Maine are still digging out from this week's big storm. Barely a creature was stirring, not even a moose.
There was a flying squirrel.
Jim Wilson gets credit for that. I want to give Jim Wilson credit for that one. It's very cute.
Yes. Very nice.
All right, you're up to date now.
Okay, now I know you want to know what the weather is, Giada, so I'm
dying to know. Will you tell me?
I could sense it. I could sense it.
She knows it's cold.
I know it's cold, and I've got short sleeves. That really makes sense.
But it's a nice wool dress. So
yes,
there you
okay.
go. And she just knitted it this morning. Let's check it out. Show you right now. It is 3 below in Bangor, Washington 23, 13 in Cincinnati. Put in the wind chills, and it's even worse. It feels like it's 16 in Burlington, Vermont, 14 in Washington, 0 in New York City. Plus, we got cold air in the Midwest. We're talking freezing cold wind chills this afternoon, 24 in Buffalo, 39 in Washington, and in the Pacific Northwest, it's even worse. We are talking about a massive storm that's moving in from the Pacific Northwest right into Northern California. Along the coast, we're talking 1 to 2 inches of rain, and inland, we're talking 1 to 2 feet of snow. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.